All right, well, we'll call the meeting to order here. 7 p.m. Stand for the pledge to the flag first. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Nate Albert,
Here.
Ken Carroll,
Here.
Linda Streisig,
Here.
John Evans, John Stanton,
Here.
Joe Casagrande,
Here.
Jan Plateau.
Here.
All right, we need approval of the minutes from our meeting on August 10th, 2016.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Streisig,
Second.
second by Commissioner Carroll. Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Linda Streisig.
Yes.
Ken Carroll,
Yes.
Jan Plateau,
Yes.
Joe Casagrande,
Yes.
John Stanton,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, so the first thing on the agenda tonight is public hearing for PUD, case number PUD-16-1-8-1, a request from Jarper Properties R2 to R2 PUD, lot number 118 in Renaissance Crossing. We need a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Jan, second.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Joe. Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Jan Plateau,
Yes.
Joe Casagrande,
Yes.
Linda Streisig.
Yes.
Ken Carroll,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
John Stanton.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, 7:01, public hearing is open. If the petitioner would like to come to the podium, I have to swear you in as a formal process here. Anybody else that's speaking tonight, need to swear you in as well.
Nate, I have the paperwork.
Thank you, Lori.
You're welcome.
We can share.
Sir, do you promise to tell the whole truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you very much.
Yes, last week, I don't know
If you could just state your name for the
what
record,
it
please.
is.
My name is Thomas J. with Greystone Homes out of Burr
It was
Ridge.
last time. It was last time.
All right. We'll turn it right over to city staff to kind of go over this project.
Yeah, TJ is with Jarper Properties. They have already come forward to get the property at Division and Zauza rezoned. It's been passed by the city council to be rezoned to R2. He is here to discuss the PUD that's on that site. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to TJ.
Sure, go ahead, TJ.
Do you want a dog and pony show, or do you want to ask questions and I'll have me answer them?
Well, just for the record, just kind of maybe explain a little bit about the property, what you
Okay,
intend on
the-
doing.
Property is pretty well a pancake. It does have some drainage off to the northeast, and then again to the, directly to the west on DeZausa Drive. We're planning 14 townhouse units or ranch villas shaped primarily all duplex units. So there'll be 7 buildings with 2 units each. Please excuse me a little, I'm a little out of it. I've just spent the last 6 weeks fighting kidney stones. And I'm not fully off the drugs and stuff yet, so I'm a little choppy here tonight.
No problem.
We've been through, with the help of your staff, doing the engineering and have sewer and water service to each unit. And the detention is already been accounted for in the original PUD. We have taken the Commission's recommendations of the last public hearing and have added four parking places in the island, as well as screening with berms and plantings along Division and also the east property line onto the property that's zoned commercial. It's a simple cul-de-sac design. When you get to the cul-de-sac, it's a one-way to the right and you go around. There's no two-way traffic around it, which should simplify things. We have submitted, and I believe it was approved, the truck turning radius plan, so we know the fire trucks will fit. And we also, at the end of the cul-de-sac, for their use and other emergency vehicles, a emergency access that will be something like they call them grass block pavers, where about every 4 inches you got a plug of sod and everything else is a plug of concrete. So you get the best of both worlds. You don't see a big driveway, but you have the durability that can handle the big trucks. I believe as part of your packet, you have a landscape plan that shows not only the site landscaping, but the bedding plants around a typical unit.
This is,
What we will be attempting to sell out there is, again, 2-bedroom ranch units, but in the past, I have offered them as an optional 3rd bedroom or a loft on the 2nd floor. And I offer them just for flexibility, because practically speaking, we get about maybe 5% that actually want the loft or the bedroom on the 2nd floor. Most of our buyers traditionally have been empty nesters and early retirement people that want everything on one level. And that's the market we're aiming for. I have in front of you, if anybody wants to look at them, we have 1/4-inch drawings of the front elevation as well as floor plans. There is 2 distinctly different units, although on the minis that were given in your packet and these large ones, they're depicted as being Unit A and Unit A together and Unit B and Unit B together, but we can change that and have an A and a B within the same building. They're designed to do that, and that way it gives us flexibility for sales.
If I could just add too, he has offered parking on the south side of the street. He's got 5 parking spaces on the south side of the street with no parking on the north, and then he touched on it with the 4 parking stalls at the end in the island.
So those are designated parking spots. They're going to be marked as such.
Those would be, yes.
I don't believe we got the plans in our packet regarding the,
Yeah, we do not, for some reason, we don't have the landscape plans. If you have a copy, TJ, that might be beneficial.
Yeah.
and just for the record, for the rest of the commissioners, you know, this was tabled from last month, so most of the stuff came in last month's packet, and hopefully you have everything. If not, I'm sure we can pass things around and make sure everybody's on the same page. Okay, so that is similar to what we got.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
A landscape plan, okay.
So TJ, just to clarify, you said that there's 2 separate units, an A and a B.
Yeah.
And you can mix and match which building will have an A and a B, or 2 A's or 2 B's.
Correct.
You know, my-
2 Bs or an A and a B or B and an A.
You know, one of my big concerns is that, you know, we obviously don't want all of them to look alike when you're driving down the street. That's a concern that I have, so.
And that's again why we offer, we have in the plans a loft that can either face to the front or the rear on a B unit, and it faces to the side on an A unit, or I can give them a loft and a bedroom upstairs, which then, like, here is the A unit.
And TJ, I'm sorry, if you could just go to the podium so the audience can hear on the camera and show that way, thank you.
All right, this is the A unit with no loft. This is an A unit with a loft or bedroom to the front. But you can see this dormer on some of the buildings will make all the difference in the world just going up and down. You know,
And this will strictly be up to the buyer of the unit when you sell them.
yes,
And does the city will step in and say, okay, whatever everybody buys the same floor plan. We need to make sure that that's spiced up a little bit different as we go down the street. If there's a way to do that.
Yeah, I think, we would probably try to accommodate with TJ as much as we could on that, so. I don't have a definitive answer for that, but that's something we try to assist with.
And here's our B unit, and this one shows both dormers to the front. They're not just your typical small dormer. This would be the width of the whole bedroom, 12 foot.
So your unit, that's the unit Bs. The doors, the front door is on the side of the building, where
Correct.
the unit A is on the front, but just set back a little bit farther.
Yes, sir.
So if you're interested in looking at those, you can come up to the table and look at those too. I saw you looking for that.
Any other comments or questions from the staff first before we proceed with commissioners?
No, nothing.
Anything from the commissioners? Ken?
Yeah, you're asking for a PUD here, which automatically reverts to a homeowners association. And I live in a PUD, and we have a declaration, bylaws, and rules and regulations. And for the first couple of years, or actually for the first 7 years, since we had 1,100 homes, the developer was the homeowners association until he ultimately turned it over to the residents. Will you be doing the same, something similar to that?
Yes, we will have a homeowners association. It's been my experience in the past. It is one of the only ways to control the quality, both in the beginning as well as the quality going on through the life of the buildings and the comfort of the residences. We are in the process of doing covenants and restrictions, just as we are in the process of finishing up the architectural plans. It's just, everybody's so booked right now that it's hard to get your foot in the door anyplace.
So basically, when these people move in, they will have a declaration, and then they will have bylaws and rules and regulations that
Yes, sir.
they can, at their disposal. And you will be the homeowners associations for a while until such time you can turn it
I'm pretty sure
over?
it's law that we have to until we're 75% or 80% occupied.
Great.
It's been my experience in the past. I've never taken a penny as far as a management fee like some builders do. And normally when we get about 40 to 50% occupied, what we like to do is appoint some of the residents as a steering committee so they know where their money is going.
Great.
And just to touch on that as well, if you look at the staff report provided by Robinson in the packet, on that last page, there are some suggested conditions that we attached to this PUD. And one of those items was that the city has final approval over the covenants, conditions, and restrictions, so we can make sure there's adequate maintenance of those items, along with some additional items that we would suggest are included as part of the PUD motion.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Oh, that's it? I saw your whole list there.
Nate had mentioned about, so it's not looking like barracks out there, more or less a monotony code. And what are your colors? What colors do you have in
I know
texture?
when I first testified here at the first public hearing, I liked the uniformity of one color, one set of colors. But if it's the desire of the city, I'd be happy to change them up. I mean, we work with Mr. Gall in your building department. He not necessarily gets into the color situation, but we'd be open to changing colors and really getting, I mean, if you go through what we're doing in Renaissance Crossing now, we have not, to my knowledge, even presented the same color combination on any of the houses we built.
And you're doing 14 homes in that subdivision, is that correct? I can't remember the exact number.
I think we have 17 up and we've got 6 more to go.
Yeah, I understand that this is a small community of 14 units, and we just want to make sure they have some variation, not so much flashy colors, but at least complement each other.
Sure.
And I understand it needs to have some uniformity and what have you, so it's, it's a pleasant thing to see.
If it's the desire of the council, we'd be happy to accept that as part of our PUD. I really don't have a problem with it one way or another.
Okay. I would suggest to at least present some material colors, roofing colors, window colors, brick, siding, what have you, so that you have those options to provide rather than saying, okay, these are the limited options, at least present.
What I've done in the past is the first buyer in on that particular building, we guide them and we work with them on that building, and they pick the color palette for that building. And then the next one, if it's the desire of the commission, I don't see no reason on something like this is, we can repeat once and that's it, and they won't be side by side.
Okay.
Because I know right now, your gray palette with the stone, the gray siding, white trim, and a dark gray roof, I mean, it's hot. Everybody seems to want it. And I would hate to limit sales to just one building. But, if you give us two, that's great.
Okay.
This kind of segues a little bit into what me and Scott talked about earlier today is that, we have a pretty, we have a aesthetics ordinance on how much masonry should be used on buildings like this and, depending on the zoning. And I just want to make sure, and for the record, I repeat it again, I repeated it a couple of months ago, but I just want to make sure that that's all followed to a T. We got one chance to make these buildings look nice, and I'm not trying to criticize you or anything like that. I just want to make sure it's done right from the beginning. Our ordinance calls for 80% brick or masonry on the front part of the building, and then any side that faces a public or private street is another 10%. So, I just want to make sure that we're going along those guidelines.
You're correct, and it does depend on the type of lot it is, but they are not asking for any variations from our zoning code in regards to the aesthetics, the facade of the building, so they will be upheld to those same standards.
Very nice.
Sir, may I address
Please.
your comment?
Yes.
For instance, we're building some larger ones, 3,000 square feet in Homer Glen, and we submit one set of plans, and the building department there gives us the latitude to look at that, analyze it, and like these front windows here, on some of them, we box them out, put like a window seat in there, and then we vary that look from a shed roof to a gable or a hip. I'd be happy to do that with you people.
Great.
Mr. Gall in your building department has been very accommodating, and I really enjoy working with him. I'd like to keep this thing going.
Great. That's good to hear. Thank you. Just another question regarding that monument sign. Right now, there's a sign that's on the left side of Zalza Drive that says Renaissance. Is one of them going to say one thing and the other one's going to say another thing?
I don't know if that's the case. I know,
No.
yeah. I
No,
think
they'll
they should be.
remain the same. We got a sign permit through the building department, and what our intention to do is, once this is sold out, those signs are going to come down, and we will put some type of a permanent monument lettering to identify Renaissance Crossing.
Okay, I just wanted to make
It was on
sure.
there originally, and before we purchased the property, it disappeared.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't Renaissance Crossing and then Renaissance Crossing 2 or something.
Right.
Okay. Any other comments or questions from commissioners?
Yeah. How much square footage is the two-bedroom?
If I remember correctly, one is 1,625 and the other one is 1,648 square
Okay.
feet.
And the three-bedroom
The 3-bedroom would add approximately another 400 square feet.
All right.
Because there's a bathroom and then again an optional loft.
And price-wise on these units?
To be competitive, we have to be somewhere down around 220 to 228.
For a 2-bedroom?
Yeah.
And what about the 3rd bedroom with the loft?
I haven't priced that out yet recently, but in the past, that usually added about $20,000 to $25,000. Because that's with the bathroom upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Any other comments or questions?
At this time.
Do we have any comments from the audience at all? If you could come to the podium and state your name for the record, and I believe sign in as well, please.
Brian Flipiak, live at 16640 Zalza Drive. Literally, it's going to be right across the street from me. I'm the second house. I wasn't able to come here during the initial because unfortunately we had a vacation plan with literally 1 year when the initial everything was going on, so I wasn't able to be here. So some of this stuff I'm kind of just catching firsthand now because one of my few questions is when the HOA, is that only for that or is it going to end up being for our whole subdivision?
If I'm correct, that would just be for that.
Okay.
Yeah, they would not be able to apply that to your
Yeah,
subdivision.
because I say there, because you want to see a lot of people get angry.
Will only apply to these 14 units.
Okay, and then my other question then would be is, because when I looked at that, seeing the way the landscape was going to be, because like I said, my house, the last thing I wanted to be looking at would be a wooden fence or some sort of fencing other than aside from the back of the house. I mean, I do understand, 10 years ago when we bought it as the model from Zal's. I think it was one of the last ones that he sold before he got out. And I knew that something was ever going to go in that spot. I'm just wanting to say that, if I'm looking at a sore thumb, I'm out.
And I'll let TJ comment on this, but I believe last time he was before us, he said that he did not intend to put fencing up, just landscape berms and some trees and other landscaping.
Then my other question, because I thought now we're looking at like the 220 range. What happens if some of these empty nesters that we're targeting, they don't come? Where does this go from there? Because then, if we start going into the lower income, because I bought my house at 200 and we went down to 160, we were in the hole, and now we're up to 245. Now, what is this gonna do for my house? Because the last thing I wanna see is again, go back underwater again.
I don't, well.
TJ, if you would come to the podium to answer. Thank you.
Anything is possible. It's something I cannot control is the economy. I wish I could have. I wouldn't have lost everything 10 years ago. We have done a study between what we've had when I built these in Orland Park and Frankfurt and our current building in Homer Glen. And I worked the sales office a lot myself, just to get input. In Homer Glen, we start at 360, we go up as high as 600,000. Time and time again, I hear the comment, I don't need all this. That's why we targeted and brought these back. These are not by any means low-income housing.
That is one of my, because I've lived here long enough where Zalza put a abandoned trailer in front of my house for a year and a half that 2 homeless people and kids were abusing. So, so when stuff like this comes up, that makes a couple of us on that whole stretch of Zalza from there to see, I think it's Siegel, that street. We do get a little very concerned because after seeing what's been going on with that property over the last 10 plus years. So that was my.
TJ, would you comment on, you are selling the homes that you're currently developing in the subdivision?
We are selling them, I wouldn't call it setting the world on fire, but we are being successful at what we're doing in the north end of the subdivision. We plan on taking this, and if I can let the cat out of the bag a little, we're looking at 17 acres just down the street on Division. Again, hopefully to come back to this commission with another mixed-use subdivision with these duplex units as well as more single-family. We want to work with the city. We want to be here.
Excuse me, sir. I got a question for you. Is your house a two-bedroom, three-bedroom house?
It's a 3-bedroom with a loft, so it could have had a 4th bedroom, but when they built it, they put a loft in the one corner, so.
And it went down to 160?
Yes, we bought in, I think it was, 08? It was about 08 that we finally, when we moved in, and like I said, we bought it at 200 because he was trying to get rid of it, because I guess that there was a lot of issues that were going on, and I think within 2 years, they said we were down to 160, and we kept it going, and we started seeing the economy starting to take it, and then the last we looked at the appraisal, we were that and above, so I mean, so that's our thing, is that, I mean, we already moved once, I don't want to keep moving, but my thing is too, is that I don't want to see this tank as farther than what it did before.
Right.
I mean, because that would be just, it's already hard to try and find a nice house, let alone in a good neighborhood. I mean, I do have a camper trailer. We don't have the funds to put it off-site and store it, so it sits in my driveway. So that's when I start getting concerned about HOAs, I go, wait a minute here. Because we got a few people with boats and other trailers and stuff like that in our neighborhood, and that was the one that draws. I mean, aside, because it wasn't obviously the quality of the builder of the house, but it was the certain things that now when you start moving out this way west, that every subdivision has these restraints that you have that we liked. It was, you can do what you want, obviously within what the city allows. So
Right.
that's why I say when I got concerned about here and that, saying how's it start here, does it go affect everybody else?
Don't want, no, 14 is enough.
All right, thanks.
I bought my house in 2008, so I know exactly what you're talking
And I
about.
sold my first house, and we were up to 230. We ended up having to settle for 187. So,
And just so you know, I'm not sure if you're aware, but, a couple of months ago, we actually rezoned this from a business zoning to a residential zoning. So I'm not, any development is, it's got its good, it's got its bad, but I would think in your case, you would look more forward to a residential development as opposed to a business development.
I heard rumors of what was supposed to be there and stuff like that, and you scratch your head and go, that's not a good place for it. So, but obviously residential. We were, in fact, honestly, we were hoping that it would have been a park instead of the one that they put down the street, because it's. But then we heard all about that. So.
Yeah, they're not quite building parks that big anymore.
One would hope.
Thank you. All right, any other people in the audience that wishes to speak for or against this? All right, anything else from staff?
Not this time.
Nothing else from commissioners?
No.
All right, so we'll need a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Joe, second by Commissioner Ken. Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Joe Casagrande?
Yes.
Ken Carroll?
Yes.
Linda Streisig?
Yes.
John Stanton?
Yes.
Jan Plateau?
Yes.
Nate Albert?
Yes.
Motion carries.
At 7:28, public hearing is closed. All right, so going right down the agenda, we have new business, which happens to be this case. We need to have a motion to either approve or deny this request as it is stated tonight.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner John, second by Commissioner Ken. Any other comments or questions on this? Roll call, please.
John Stanton?
Yes.
Joe Casagrande?
Yes.
Jan Plateau?
Yes.
Linda Streisig?
Yes.
Ken Carroll?
Yes.
Nate Albert?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And TJ, as you know, we're the recommendation body to the city council. TJ, as you know, we just approved your request here at this level, but we're a recommendation body to the city council, so you'll go to that first meeting in October, which is October 3rd, correct? For their final vote on this aspect of it. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Mr. Chairman, Commission, staff. It's been a pleasure working with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good working with you.
All right, if there's nothing else before us tonight, we need a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll make a motion.
Public comment first.
Oh, and I'm sorry, to go right down the agenda, is there any other public comment on anything, not just this case? Okay, thank you, Heather.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Commissioner Linda. A second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Jan. Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Linda Streisig?
Yes.
Jan Plateau?
Yes.
Nate Albert?
Yes.
Ken Kirill?
Yes.
John Stanton?
Yes.
Joe Casagrande?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Meeting adjourned at 7:29. Thank you.